God damn it. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Spitball Media Podcast. We're spitting out the top media stories of the week and having a really good conversation around some of these awesome topics that hit the entertainment wire. My name is John Draper. I am with Shaheen. Shaheen, happy weekly Spitball Media to you.
Thank you, sir. I'm ready here for the spittage of this week.
And, of course, the king of the Midwest, Mr. Bish O'Brien. Bish O'Brien, are you ready to spit him out as well?
I'm ready to spit like a maniac. Fucking, I'm lost. I'm fucking in the Twilight Zone tonight. Yes, I'm ready. What about you guys?
Did you swallow your own spit? Is that what happened?
I did. I got choked up. A little verklempt.
Got choked up. For those of you who joined us for the first time, thank you so much for checking us out. But we always get to the program note early. We do an extra bonus show each and every week exclusively for the Patreon members. That's right. We wrap up this show and we go right to Patreon and we continue the conversation with different topics each and every week. And the only way to hear that is by going to patreon.com/breaktheapp for the most affordable premium program package in the business. That's $5, $5. Shah, it's been $5 for like 100 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, and McDonald's fries, medium fries, is almost $4 now. So
what?
Yeah, look it up.
Medium?
Yep, $3.80 something. Yep.
Oh God, B-Show, can that be real?
I can't believe it. Hopefully that's just a Philly thing because of all the looting and stuff. But
got to make up for the looting.
I know. I thought it was like $2 or something. Even so, like to think from like 10 years ago that a medium fry would be $2. That's ridiculous.
Wow. That's outrageous and egregious.
It is. And you can still get us $5 a month, the entire back catalog, all the bonus shows, monthly Q&A content. And we each try to do a bonus show about once a month. So it rounds out. And even Shudder, as you mentioned before we went online, is up to $6 a month now. So yes. I think we are officially the most affordable streaming podcast service in existence, I guess.
Yeah, unless Shah, what's a Kensington rock going for these days? $5 can that get us a rock in Kensington and Philly?
Yeah, I don't even think you can get anything in Kensington anymore for $5. That's how you know it's a good price, when you can't even get anything in Kensington for $5.
Yes. And of course, we're talking about Kensington, Philadelphia. By the way, if those of you are looking for a place to visit, Kensington, Philadelphia is lovely all year round. You might want to go there for the holidays. But instead, you can take that money, go to patreon.com/breaktheapp, $5. There's an insanely great group of people there that many of them have been there since day one. It's a global audience. We're having a lot of fun, having a lot of good conversations there. And this weekend, we'll be getting them their bonus Q&A show. So consider going to patreon.com/breaktheapp. And please hit that subscribe button. This is a new venture for us. We're very new to the YouTube world. We get a lot of love on the podcast. We get a lot of love on the Patreon. But Shah, we want that love to translate into YouTube love.
Yeah, so make sure you subscribe, hit that notification button, and definitely hit that like button. Also, if you're looking to visit Kensington, I would book up the Airbnbs as soon as possible, because that shit, I mean, it's a big vacation spot in Philadelphia. So
yeah, it's like Orlando, the Orlando of the Northeast, right, Shah?
Yeah.
And of course,
check out the zombie ride, man. Take that, the zombie
and of course, Bish O'Brien, you and the kids can't wait for your annual trip to Kensington every summer.
No, we play a game called Who Can Find the Most Dirty Needles on the Ground. We all take our own little hazmat bags.
Needle fights with mom and dad.
Also, the best strip clubs in Philadelphia. You can you don't have to tip in money. You can just throw crack pebbles at them. So it works out fine.
Throw crack pebbles. Throw rocks. But again, thank you to the many Patreons. We got very, very deep, good group of people there. And they show the love every month, and they keep the lights on in this place. Let's say hello to our good friend, Jarek Braxton. He's currently a Patreon member. He's hanging out with us right now. The Bayou Geeks, Mr. Isaacs, Joe Punches, Aaron B. Harold. My goodness. Hello to everybody. Boy, you joined us on a great night tonight. Thanks for hanging out in the chat. And, of course, thank you to the many, again, Patreon people. So interesting developments this week. We just want to get this out of the way because we've been talking about it. And in a lot of ways, we're the only people that we know talking about it. One of the two entertainment strikes finally ended as of midnight, I guess, yesterday. Of course, I'm talking about the WGA that were on strike for well over 120 days. They are all back to work. Now, I don't want to confuse anybody. The SAG-AFTRA strike is still going on. As of today, we're recording this on Thursday. They will meet on Monday, the 1st of October. They are going back to the table again. But the writers have come to an agreement And a lot of people said this was a very solid agreement. It looks like the holdout worked out pretty well for the writers, and they are back to work. Shah, they're back to writing. Your thoughts?
I guess I'm glad, since we'll get more production out of Hollywood. Obviously movies are like my go-to thing that I treat myself to. So when that comes to a halt, it's going to affect my entertainment in my life. So I'm glad they're back to work, man. Hopefully this was a success for them, I guess, right?
Yeah, it would seem that way. Show, did you happen to look at some of the stuff they got? They ended up getting a lot of stuff that they asked for.
I did. That's what I'm trying to pull up here.
It was quite
Joe
involved.
Russo. Yeah, Joe Russo, who's a writer who's been very vocal about this
Yes.
whole cause,
Oh, yes.
posted the entire thing on Twitter. Here it is.
Yeah.
Summary of the 2023 WGA MBA. So it looks like most minimums will increase by 5% on ratification. Let's see, 4% next year, 3.5% the following year, and then 3% each year. So they got some built-in raises.
Yeah.
For cost of living, it looks like increased pension contribution rates.
That's good.
Another thing I found interesting, and I wasn't sure how this would work with streaming, but there's like, if a streaming series or movies has a certain number of episodes or a certain budget, they get like certain benchmark minimums that they have to meet. So they made a lot of ground on this.
Yeah. Now, what about the AI stuff? Because that was very interesting to all of us. We respect AI, but all three of us, I think, have a healthy fear of AI.
The only thing I saw, I tried to read through it this morning. There was a lot.
It's very dense. Very
But
dense.
the one thing I saw is that studios can't force writers to use AI, and I don't think they can use them to use scripts that have already been started by AI, something weird like that.
Yeah, there's some sort of it's pretty involved, but it looks like they can't. I think something they worked on cannot be changed by AI, or something like that. I mean, look, they seem to got a lot here. I mean, if you just look at it, they got raises, they got pension contributions, they got an AI sort of addendum, episode-based things. I'm surprised. I have to say I'm a little surprised. But to be honest with you guys, if you really look at this economically, this is literally pennies on the dollar for the studio. This is a very small, like Shah, like this is literally like getting a 35-cent raise if you make minimum wage.
Yeah, this is literally like McDonald's fries going from $3.89 to $3.79.
And Joe Punch has pointed out medium fries are $3.29 in Kansas, but it seemed like they got what they wanted. They held out for a very long time. I think it was close to 5 months, Show. It was an incredibly long strike, for an entertainment strike.
That's a long strike, even for a guy from the Midwest here who's used to like labor union strikes for manufacturing.
Sure you've survived a lot of strikes in the northern Midwest.
I found Section 5 for AI.
Okay.
Let's see. AI can't write or rewrite literary material, and AI generated material will not be considered source material under the MBA.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. A writer can choose to use AI when performing writing services if the company consents and provided the writer follows applicable company policies. Company can't require the writer to use AI software. Company must disclose to the writer if any materials given to the writer have been generated by AI. And the WGA reserves the right to assert that exploitation of writers' materials to train AI is prohibited. Wow.
Holy shit. So guys, that's a huge boon for the writers, man. That basically means, I mean, Shah, it's like if you come up with an original piece and you work for like a studio that makes art, and they can't compel your work by AI. Like, you know what I mean? Like they can't finish a piece of yours with AI. They also can't compel you to use it for a piece.
Yeah. Or alter it.
That's huge. I mean, I think that's huge.
Yeah, because I mean, it's scary for the foreseeable future if they are allowed to have AI essentially alter someone else's artwork, or whether writing, songs, actual art, whatever the case may be. I think once you take like the human connection out of art, you kind of just lose the purpose of it, man.
Oh,
there's so many like pictures I see now where I'm on a lot of artist page. I can't tell what's AI anymore and what's human. And even photographs, you know what I mean? Like my mind immediately goes to like, oh, this is AI, that's not real.
Wow, that's so scary. But
that's what I mean. It is scary.
As someone who makes original art, isn't that just awful? I mean,
yeah,
like, how do you get around that in the artistic process?
Not only that, there's so many photographers. Let's say you catch a shot of a fucking, I don't know, of a bird in the sky catching a bug, and it's a 1 in a million shot that you got. Now 90% of the comments are saying, oh, this is AI, where I think it discredits people's
Oh.
ability to like achieve cool things also, because everybody just assumes the coolest things are AI now.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Bisha, I'll start with you. Is the genie out of the bottle, though? I mean, is this just trying to put the fire out with as little gasoline as possible? Since, like, Shah's someone who creates, and he automatically his brain is now compelled to think, well, that's not real. And he's someone who literally creates original art. What do you think this is going to do for the public? Do you think the genie is already out of the bottle and they're just trying to like slow the fucking process down?
Yeah, I think it was less about using AI and more about protecting source material, copyright. Because obviously, if someone let's say they commission someone to write a spec script,
Mm.
they could easily take that spec script, feed it into a chat GPT, and ask for different versions of that.
Yeah.
And then who's to say that the original writer doesn't get the, you know what I mean? That writer should still get that credit. So I think it was more about protecting them.
Mhm.
I do think you're right. I think now that we have AI, it's something we're always going to have to contend with. But to Shah's point, like, I don't know, pop music sucks because it's almost like the AI of music, where like it's all formulaic, it's all the same shit, it's all the same chords and everything.
Right.
So it is very much manufactured. But I think people can tell that. And the mass audience may not care or may not be able to tell the difference. But people like us who go to movies and who appreciate the art form, you can definitely tell something that's been just cobbled together from a formula. So
Yeah,
I don't know,
what's
man.
funny? Our buddy at the Bio Geek said it's going to be less writers are going to be used to make up some of these costs, and it does seem like that was a concern because usually when a strike ends, you demands are met. Be sure you brought this up, I think, articulately last week. It's because there's going to be some people losing jobs. Now there is a thing in here. I'm looking at it now. It's on the screen. It has amount of episodes and the minimum amount of writers in the room, minimum amount of writer producers in the writers' room. So it looks like they're kind of trying to address that. But yeah, I mean, these are interesting points because we're always going to be in this world now that when we see something, and Shah, like you point up visual, but Bisho's even talking about music. The immediate response is going to be that this was Chat GPT. Like what about comedians? What about good jokes? You know what I mean? If you read a good joke, or are comedians getting jokes from Chat GPT? I don't know. Just it's a lot to take in here, but the next step really is from the writers to the actors. And then, of course, I don't know if you guys saw this, but me and my brother Mike were talking about it. The video game people voted to strike. So now we might have a video game strike, Shah. Video games, none of us play them, but they're massive business. I mean, it's a massive, massive business market. The video game people are voted to strike, I think, last week. I don't know. Did you guys see that, Shah? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it, but I mean, it's no surprise, because if this is a success, it's going to create a chain reaction in the creators, world. Because for the most part, any kind of artist, they're usually underpaid. The ones in the
Of
background that
course.
are actually doing the work. So if this works for one set of group of people that are similar to another, the other group is sure as hell going to try to do it. So I expect this to happen in the music industry, probably with, I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah,
say
it's possible.
producers, because producers, they make good money, but maybe ghostwriters. There's a ton of
Writers.
ghostwriters in music,
Yeah, songwriters union. There's a
Um,
songwriters union.
yeah. So I mean, those people, I'm sure they're getting ripped off left and right.
Or porn. Maybe porn's going to get worried about Chat GPT show. I mean, there's a lot. Look, sex work is like a huge thing now, from OnlyFans to fucking piss cams to fucking
That's another thing. Can like porn? Like, what if? I mean,
no
that's
porn.
gonna be
Seriously,
fake, right? Like, what's? I don't
deep
know, man.
fake porn. I mean, the internet, since the internet started, deep fake porn was there, guys. I mean, deep fake porn's been around a long time. I constantly see people putting these fake pictures of like Jennifer Lawrence or Scarlett Johansson that are fake, but Bicho, they look good.
They do, and that's why I pulled this up from what Shah was talking about, and then it dovetailed into what you're covering right now. These photos are supposed to be AI. Like this one, you can tell
You
is
can
is
tell.
not real.
You can
But
tell.
look
Looks like
how
a video game.
close it is now. Yeah,
It looks like Final Fantasy. You know what I mean?
I mean, these
yeah,
aren't even really good
re-released.
examples. There's much crazier ones where it
These look
literally looks
blatantly
like they're
fake, though.
photographs.
Shout out to Aaron B. Harold. He's in here for the first time. What's up, Aaron? Thanks for checking out the show. And of course, our good friend Marquise Johns. He's hanging out.
Or how about that one right
Bro.
there?
That looks real. That looks like a great photograph. You know?
Like, you can use it for cool things like that Mona Lisa. Like, I like that concept where you can take a
That's
piece
cool.
of art and like you know, what would she look like in real life? You know,
She looks
Yeah,
like
still
John
not
Adams
very
in a wig.
bangable, Shah. Still not very bangable.
It looks like
Yeah.
John Adams and Ben Franklin or something.
Mona Lisa looks like a guy named Mike Lisa.
I can see Ben Franklin a little bit. I know what you
I
mean.
can see, yeah, sexy Ben Franklin, of course. Now, Shah, let me ask you a question. Are you still fucking around with that program that you had us check out last year, the AI?
No, I mean, I fell out of that space a long time
What was
ago. I
that called
played
again?
around with Mid-Journey.
Mid-Journey. Is that still popular, or is that like
Yeah, that's pretty much the main. That's the main AI as far as
that's the
art.
main AI for art?
Yeah, I mean, most of these are made through Mid-Journey.
Yeah, look at this one right here.
Come on, that looks like Final Fantasy, dude. I mean, like, seriously.
It looks
Van
okay.
Gogh, is that
Better
Frida Kahlo and
quality. Better
Kahlo?
quality than Final Fantasy is what I'm saying.
What's that? That's wow. That's Napoleon. I don't know. Is that supposed to be Frida in the middle? I don't think it is.
No, she doesn't
No,
have
I
a
don't.
unibrow.
Okay, yeah, no, she hasn't got the Roman Moroni unibrow there. But these, I'm sorry, these look like pixie fantasy things to me. Is that supposed to be AI porn? Okay, now we're talking.
See,
Excuse me, I gotta
told
get some
ya.
tissues. Give me 1 second.
You can still tell these are AI. There's other ones I see in these AI groups where I'm just like, dude, this is real. Like, I can't tell at all. Also, with evidence, like, I mean, how do you prove in the future like something is real unless it's on? Because I mean, this is gonna fucking basically go into video also, right? Like, this is
Yeah,
gonna.
of course.
So, who's to say that you could fake video camera footage in 3 years and blame people for shoplifting and things of that nature that they didn't do?
Yeah, or Shah, what you can do is you can just make a body double to take your place in case of a crime, and this way you don't have to do the time.
It's surreal times, man. I mean, the
Yeah.
technology, at the pace that it's moving, man, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to see a good portion of it. You guys will probably see a better portion of it than me, but you know, it's that next
John, we had
generation.
MySpace like 10 years ago, and we thought it was fucking the craziest shit ever to be able to
I
have,
remember
like,
Pong. I remember
Yeah.
thinking Pong
Look where
B
we are
show was the
now.
greatest thing ever. And Combat on Atari, the old school Atari. I couldn't believe you could play it in color and black and white.
I mean, you
Shout out to
mentioned
Slave Cheeks. He's in here hanging out. Basement of Love is chilling.
on your Facebook that Siri picked up on your brother's birthday.
This is real. Okay, this actually really happened.
Technology is crazy, dude.
Yeah,
How
it
does
is.
it know that?
Slave Cheeks, we were talking about the writer's strike and the AI component. Look at that Cartman. I love that shit. I could watch that all day. So this is a real thing. So my youngest brother, his birthday is Friday. And when I was on my phone, I got a thing from Siri, which I don't use Siri on my phone. I have 3 Siris in this house. And yes, that sounds awful, obnoxious. And Siri said, it's Mark's birthday. It's, you know, so, and it sent him a happy birthday. Now, here's the thing. It's not my brother's birthday. I knew it wasn't my brother's birthday, but I didn't think much of it. And then my brother was like, hey, you're a day early. And I'm like, no, that was Siri. And my brother was like, are you fucking serious? I go, yeah, dude. And I sent him I still had the screenshot. I have it on my phone. I sent him the screenshot of the reminder of like, it's Mark's birthday, like September 28th. And my brother was like, dude, that is fucked up. I go, yeah. And he was like, well, you know, it's proven that they're listening to you through Siri and all this other stuff. I mean, it's kind of weird, right? I mean, B-Show, that really fucking happened. I have the screenshot here. I sent my brother the screenshot.
Dude, people in I don't know, man. People in technology have tried to tell me for years that it's not listening, it can't capture and send information. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin Dan and my brother Steve, we have a group chat where every time this happens, we send like, hey, I was just talking about this yesterday, and this is what ad just came up on my phone. There's stuff where like someone has come over and they said, hey, the other day I was talking about something and it popped up. Or I was in an appointment, like a meeting a couple weeks ago, and someone was telling me about somewhere they went on vacation. And then like 3 days later, it popped up for this location, like an ad to go there.
Jesus.
And I know they say like the cookies on your phone, when you connect to an internet hub, it like shares the information and then you can get it. I'll buy that. But there's been way too many times where I haven't even looked at anything on my phone. I'm telling something about something, and then it just pops right the fuck up on Facebook, and it's scary.
Yeah, I mean, look, I Skynet is real. I don't know what I think B-Show, Shah, Skynet's real. I mean, there's no getting around it.
Yeah, it happens all the time to me. Even I feel like sometimes even thoughts that I have about certain merchandise where I don't even voice it into reality. Like I don't have an actual conversation with somebody in real life about it,
Right.
or search it or anything on my phone. and it still pops up as advertisements. Dude,
Yeah.
they're mind readers, man.
I just sent you the screenshot of this morning, and yep, like you'll see it. It's wild. Like it's absolutely fucking wild. And like
It's like having
it's
Miss
just,
Cleo in your phone, you know?
what's that?
It's like having Miss Cleo in your phone. It reads your mind.
Yes, that's a very regional. That's a regional reference there, Shot. Look at that deep fake of Scarlett Johansson, though. I mean, my gosh.
Hang on,
Look, I
let me
guess
back
if the
up for you.
deep fakes look good, we're good. You know what I mean? Slave Cheeks, thank you. I will not live much longer. I think I got about 6 weeks, but I appreciate that. But look at that ScarJo. I mean, you know it's not her, but do you care? I don't.
I mean, that one looks really fake. That almost looks
there's way
cartoony.
better ones than that. There's super better
Well,
ones.
everything else is blurred out. That's good, John, because
Well,
yes,
also,
I see that.
Also, you got to keep in mind, Mid-Journey, which is the most advanced program, does not allow you to do porn on there. So,
not yet.
Yeah, some of the porn stuff is you're gonna. I don't know. This is mostly probably gonna be not even AI. It's probably gonna be people like Photoshop and shit and passing it off. That's why it looks worse.
Yeah, I would, if we're going to have an AI version of me, can it be one with a better credit score? That's the only thing I'm hoping with. But we want to move on to something very interesting this week. Some news came up a couple of days ago in the entertainment world. It's very odd. So Miramax is letting go of I guess they're Universal because they own Miramax. They're letting go of the Halloween property. They've had the property for a good while now. And now that they've sort of rebooted it in this part of the 2000s, they've decided that it's time to sell it. And lo and behold, the two top bidders in the war for Halloween are none other than Paramount, major studio, one of the 4 major studios, and A24. That's right. The groundbreaking, original, esoteric, sort of, the indie darling of all genres at this point, is now the lead to take over the rights to develop a TV series exclusively based on the Halloween property. Now, this is very fascinating because we've just ended the new version of Halloween, last Halloween, and we were all kind of moving on from it. But no, Shah, it looks like Michael Myers is still alive and A24 might be knocking on the door. Shah, you are the king of A24 propaganda. Your thoughts?
Oh man, I'm all over the place with this, honestly. I know the Friday the 13th series is coming out fairly soon. That's next year, right?
Is that Netflix, guys, or Hulu? Who's got that B?
I think it was Hulu.
Was it Peacock? I can check that.
Oh shit, it might be Peacock.
But once they got their hand in that, I was already feeling a little bit uncomfortable with their future and the direction they're heading. This is kind of concerning to me, man. I mean, if anybody, because it's like it's too big of a brand. It's already something that's already a well-known franchise. That's not really A24. I was going to say AEW.
AEW.
That's not
Orange
A24,
Cassidy is going to be Mike Myers.
Because A24 is very original, right? I mean, doing Halloween, is it original? Like, you're already taking a concept, and I'm sure they're going to put their own spin on it and make it cool or whatever. But I don't want that to happen, honestly. But if there is anybody that's gonna, prolong the life of Michael Myers beyond Halloween ends, I trust A24 with it, but doesn't mean particularly I want to see it happen. But again, I'm not the biggest like Halloween and Friday fan, but I would definitely watch it. I mean, it'll bring a shit ton of money to A24, but that also again concerns me because I don't think we'll get movies like Saint Maud and Hereditary and things of that nature as much as we used to. We'll still get them like maybe once a year or whatever. They'll put out that weird horror just to stick to their roots. But, I don't want to see them. And I like Talk to Me, but that was more so that was like one of their main basic bitch horror movies, right? Like that was the concept is kind of like mainstream. It's not A24.
You're referring to the concept, not the execution, though.
No, the concept.
Stark differences there.
Yeah. No, just the concept.
Shah, would you say the execution is all A24 in that fucking movie?
Yeah, which is hence the reason why I actually liked it. Because like the concept alone, if another studio did it, I probably wouldn't like it. Because again, the story is not that crazy. Like if Blumhouse did that, it'd be a blue tinted, basic bitch horror movie with a couple of jump scares. and that would be it.
That death scene wouldn't be in there. I'll tell you that right now.
Right. I mean, a lot of the stabbing,
A lot of
a
stabbings.
lot of the crazy stuff wouldn't be in there. I don't know, man. I guess we'll see. I do think they're gonna get it though. I do.
I do too. I think the fact that they want it means they're going to get it. Now, B Show, you're a you love A24, but you love Halloween. I mean, so not even, you know what I mean? It's this is, I'm very curious to see your vibe on this because it seems like it's going to happen. This is a very mainstream news story. It's not a fringe news story.
Yeah, and point of clarification from movieweb.com. So Trancas International is the company that's owned the rights to the Halloween series since the 70s.
Mhm.
They are the ones shopping it out, and apparently Miramax is fighting with A24 over the rights. So it's like a
Oh,
bidding war
wow.
type of thing. So Miramax is trying to hang on to it, and Miramax has had the rights, oh God, since
Since the zombie, right?
since Halloween H2O, I think, was Dimension. So that's 1998.
Dimension. That's right, because Miramax bought Dimension, right? Or
Oh,
got
actually,
folded.
no, Halloween 6, 1995.
The Curse?
Yes.
The Return. Is that
Curse
The
of Michael
Return?
Myers, yeah.
Okay.
So since 1995, they've had the distribution rights or the rights to the films.
Oh God, that's a long time.
And now they went to Blumhouse, and now Miramax is fighting with A24. Here's the thing. I'm as big a Halloween fan as you can find. I honestly don't want to see any more Halloween films for a while. After honestly seeing what Blumhouse did to the series, just give it a rest. You can't miss it unless it goes away for a while, and it doesn't have to be rushed out. We've seen with Star Wars on Disney, or even the Marvel, just pumping show after show after show. It just waters it down and ends up being too much. However, if someone is going to take it and do something with it, I would much rather it be a studio like A24 than Blumhouse, because
Blumhouse
we've
isn't
seen
even in the running, B.
no, but that's what I'm saying is like
Yeah.
seeing what Blumhouse did with it. If they're gonna do something with it, fucking A24. They're doing the Frankenstein thing, right?
Right.
And it's a completely different take on the Frankenstein story. Other people have done Possession. Other studios have done haunting movies. Other studios have done things about like the occult. A24 seems to really dig in and do a lot of nuanced things, to take chances. And I think the Halloween series is simple enough in a story, like boil it down. It's simple enough as a story, but with all these other elements and directions it can go to just kind of enhance it and make it better. I think if there's a studio that I would like to see pick this up, it would be A24. So yeah, if they're gonna do it, go for it. I might get into detail next week if I have some time in a video or
Yeah, it'd be
an additional
a
audio
good sort of
episode.
walkthrough there because there's a lot of information. There's a lot of history.
Yeah, and
Now,
there's a lot of source material too. Like there's different, they've gone a ton of different directions. You can essentially cherry pick some of the best, almost like the Platinum Dudes Friday the 13th did. Not everyone liked that, but they went back to the first 3 films and said, okay, this is really one long movie. So why don't we take the best out of like episode 2, 3, and 4, and we'll make one really good movie out of it. So another thing too is this is not film rights, this is TV rights.
right. Well, that's the other thing. But here's the thing: the way we got to get thinking outside of the box here. TV rights are enormous. The Star Wars success from TV rights, the Marvel success from TV rights. You got things like Stranger Things from Netflix with TV rights. We're going to have this fall of House of Usher, which we really have not talked about. The Mike Flanagan stuff. TV rights now for horror is not what it was even 2 or 3 years ago. TV rights for any major studio property. Nobody goes, ugh, they're making a TV show out of that now. I mean, they fucking Halo on goddamn Paramount, for God's sake. That cost like $200 fucking million. Now, Shah, to my understanding, A24 has never done a TV series. Is that accurate? Do you know if they've ever done a TV series?
Yeah, I believe Friday is going to be their first one, as far as I know. You know what would be interesting though, if this does happen, I think it's going to be so divisive in the horror community that like
God.
the entertainment we'll get out of that. You can probably do like fucking 15 weeks in a row of just
Yeah.
people.
Oh, forget it.
Because you know the hardcore Halloween fans, they're gonna hate A24's take on it. The people that love A24 will say this is better than the original movie. It'll get wild, and we're already gonna get that with Friday, so you'll get a taste of that soon.
So A24 is developing it in conjunction with Paramount. Is that what's happening? They have for Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th, they're doing Crystal Lake on Peacock.
Peacock. Okay. A24 has nothing to do with that?
No, they do.
They do.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant with Paramount. It's not with
So
Paramount.
so yeah, but Shah, but here's the thing. If A24 is already doing a series for Peacock on Friday the 13th, this is an extension of that in every way. Like there's no it's almost like it makes 50 times more sense now and it's not as like
Right.
shocking for people. Now, do you think Friday is going to be the litmus test because we don't know. Look, we have no idea what's going to happen. Let's presume A24 wins, and in the next 3 years, you're going to have a Crystal Lake next year, and then you got to have Friday the 13th and Halloween in 2025. Do you think this also chills out any movie hopes for reboots of Friday the 13th, which a lot of people were trying to fucking get back in theaters, and Halloween, which Bisho was saying there's a major hangover now from this shit, and people are already not into it. Do you think that that's a better direction because streaming means a lot more now on television?
I wonder if it's a success if A24 would get the rights or try to get the rights for like a Friday the 13th movie.
Oh God.
But again, that's not something I want to see necessarily. You know what I mean? Like I don't want them. I don't need A24 doing Halloween and Friday. If anything, I would like to see them do Nightmare on Elm Street, because like that is almost like surreal. Like that's more along their alley.
Yeah.
That's more so what they do. I can see them getting weird with and artsy with that, but you know, doing like a Friday, like a artsy Friday the 13th, I just don't know how they pull it off. But then again, I you know, they do what they do, man. I'm sure when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. We can't. They do what they do. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Bisho, this is a prequel for Crystal Lake, so we're not getting Jason in a hockey mask running around cutting up titties. It's the camp. It's probably the precursor to him like him and his mother even going there. Like, I imagine that's part of it.
Yeah, from what I know, they haven't released many details, but that's pretty much it. It's the story before the story, essentially. So
Mhm.
I'm not a huge fan of I guess prequels, and for some reason, it's like there's a lot of what's the word? There's too much explanation and not enough action in
Mm.
those types of movies. Like there's certain things that keep things mysterious. Like they were talking about doing a Nightmare on Elm Street prequel a while back, telling the story of Fred Krueger before he was Freddy. It's like, but no,
Yeah.
the
Him getting a
franchise is
paper route,
yeah.
him going through puberty.
It's like, no, why do we want to see him being an asshole to kids like as a maintenance guy to school or something? Like that's not the story. And it takes that mystique out of it. Same thing with if they did like the origins of Jason. It's like, no, he's a fucking dude who was thought to have been dead. His mom gets killed, and he's a big simpleton who comes back for revenge. Like
Right.
I agree with Shah. I can see A24 being kind of up the alley for Halloween because you can go in different esoteric directions with it
Oh,
based
for
on
sure. Yeah.
how you treat the mythology. Jason, that seems a lot more straight ahead and not up their alley. So
Well, if you guys saw, Joe Punches brought this up a little earlier. He was saying, what if they did a series about Michael Myers when he was in the fucking insane asylum? I mean, that's some fucking ill shit. Shaq, can you imagine an A24 asylum-based TV series on a child, Michael Myers being a child in an adult insane asylum? I mean, seriously,
I
does that make A24 sense?
820. I honestly, I do see that, man. I can already see it in my head with the insane asylum. If they take that approach, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
By the way, my dog is throwing up in the background. I hope you caught
Yeah,
that.
because your dog is really more of a Nightmare on Elm Street fan and is really upset about these reboots. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it's going to be a series where we get a young Loomis, or something like that, show, I'm not that interested in it. It's going to be some, like 20-something-year-old, like hipster British guy who gets the part of a young Loomis in the 60s, becoming a doctor, studying different psychopaths, which lead him to find the psychopath of psychopath, Michael Myers. I mean, I feel like you can kind of see that might be a direction for this being, right? Because I don't think we're going to get the adult Michael Myers every week getting chased on a TV show, like the old Hulk TV series or something.
yeah, no, I agree. And someone brought up something on Twitter a while back. I don't know if it was We Watched a Movie. It was one of the horror creators that I follow, and they said to even do that, like the special thing with Loomis was that the idea was he was a seasoned, like regular Joe psychiatrist, a man of science, somewhat like he's seen a lot of shit, but it's like real world benign insanity, and he is so freaked out by this one case that he can't wrap his head around. Like that's what made it special. It's like this is unlike anything I've ever seen, and it's a 7-year-old kid. Like, to go back and show him like Law and Order SVU style, like trying to investigate all these crazy murder, it would almost take
Young
the
Loomis.
yeah. He
It'd be
killed
like
that
young
man.
Sheldon. Young Loomis.
He killed that man right in front of me. Like, no, you wouldn't want to see that every week because it was special because this was the one case. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we got Kevin Castle's joining us. Kevin Castle, for the record, I love 2009 reboot of Friday the 13th. I didn't like. I liked it fine. It's just very dark. Way better to make Jason a deformed survivalist than a big goof with supernatural powers. I haven't seen that in a long time. I don't know what you guys think of that movie, but I found it very dark, and that's becoming a problem for me. I felt you couldn't see shit in that motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with Kevin. I actually really like that one. When it came to like reboots, I think that's one of the forgotten ones because that wasn't bad. Like the Nightmare on Elm Street, like that remake was fucking.
That was pretty terrible. I like that actor quite a bit, but and he tried his best, but that's Rorschach, dude. But
yeah, it was terrible.
That was the makeup was bad. And it's like, I mean, dark as in the quality, the film quality. I can't see anything. It's so fucking pitch black. I couldn't see shit in that movie. The Friday the 13th. Bisha, what's your take on the 2009?
I like the 2009 one. It seems more, again, I've been doing this while I work. I've been watching the Friday the 13th movies in the background, and I noticed I like the first 3 or 4 a lot more than 6, 7, 8 when they start getting out there. And
oh yeah,
like everything just seems so cornball, and I don't know, man. I like them for what they are, but I agree with Kev Castle 100%. Like, he's a backwoods dude, lost his mom, he's a simpleton, he's killing people. Almost like in the same vein of Leatherface. Like, if you had like episode 5 of Texas Chainsaw, and all of a sudden he holds his chainsaw up to the sky and gets electrocuted and supercharged like Frankenstein, and now he's punching holes in people. Like, no, come on.
Yeah. And the other thing is, what we're, the difference is both Jason and Mike Myers are kind of cock diesel. And Leatherface has the dad bod, Shah. Like he can't do cardio, Leatherface.
See what Kev is saying, like that could be cool. I would like to see Tourist Trap redone by A24. That's something they would fucking kill.
Wow.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like, but for people who don't see it, Kevin Castle is saying if they bought the rights of the 80s slasher films, The Prowler, The Burning, Hell Night, Funhouse, A24's interpretation of The Burning, it would probably be like Hereditary style uncomfortableness. I can't even imagine. Like they would, like A24 taking on those, like doing Madman Mars. Jesus Christ. I don't know that I want to see that. It'd be too uncomfortable. I like this idea. Listen, I'm A24 is batting 1,000. I mean, they're like the 1926 Yankees or some shit. Like, it's just like they don't have a lot of duds. So if they take on a mainstream property, I do have a question for you guys, just and for the chat too, because I know some other people probably like the 2009 Friday the 13th. If that 2009 Friday the 13th came out today, am I wrong in thinking it would be a wild success? Just stylistically, the killings are very brutal. It's gory. It's hard R. What's her face is smoking hot in it. Timberlake's wife. Do you think, Shah, if that came out today, that would be a hit?
I don't think it would be. I like what just in the chat room real quick. Joe Punch is mentioning Rawhead Rex.
Yeah,
dude, I just discovered the original comics of Rawhead Rex, like the I guess like the graphic novels.
Yeah,
and the way it looks in those is
it's
fucking crazy looking.
Yeah.
So he's right. If A24 gets that, dude, I would cream my pants because I already know the creature would look fucking crazy. Because Rawhead Rex is one of those throwback movies that I'm not a big fan of. But
I like it.
I
like it. It's Australian. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, is that Clive Barker? No, that's whose story is that? The original?
It's Clive Barker.
Yeah, it's Clive Barker's story. Those Clive Barker comic books. By the way, Shah, if you think those look good, you should look at the Hellraiser comic books. They look fucking amazing.
Yeah, look at this thing.
Yeah,
holy shit,
so fucking cool.
Look at that. I mean, yeah, we're not even doing it. Look at that motherfucker.
Yeah, that looks cool as shit, man.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you're not watching this on YouTube or in the chat, you're missing out. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's nothing that looks like this. Look at this.
Tell
I
me you
mean, this
can't see
is
A24
is this
doing
Tem-
this.
who is this? Temple Smith? Is this the guy who did 30 Days a Night? It looks like his shit. Ben Temple Smith. I could be wrong, but yeah, Tourist Trap, Kev. I got these guys into Tourist Trap. Bisho likes Tourist Trap now. But Bisho, do you think if the 2009 version came out today with everybody's palettes, you have to remember now we've had a decade of A24, a resurgence of slasher, a resurgence, like we've had a rise in horror being mainstreamed. We have horror channels. We have Terrifier 2 being talked about on the Good Morning America. You don't think the 2009 today version of Friday the 13th would be perceived way differently?
I think it would be. Yeah, I'm kind of conjured out. Like I understand the appeal of, I understand the appeal of like, I don't know, possession and all this weird shit happening, and it kind of dovetails with society and how people seem to be so incensed. And it's like how, like you have to be possessed if you're acting and speaking like this. I get it, but there's been a lot of those movies that have come out in the past 5 or 10 years, and I feel like a return to some more straight ahead, scary campfire talesy type of shit, some real world stuff, the neighbor, the horror next door, the boogeyman on the
The
corner who's
Boogeyman.
peering in your
Yeah.
window. It's just I think things are ebbing and flowing and swinging, and I think Terrifier 2 broke through a little bit. So I would agree with you. I think with the climate right now, with the movies we've seen over the last 5 or 10 years, that Friday the 13th is a lot better than people give it credit for. And I
Yeah.
think it would be a success, especially given the name today. Because if it wasn't, then why is Peacock, like, why are they doing Crystal Lake?
Well, yeah. Why did Hulu buy Predator? Why did Hulu buy Hellraiser? Like. And by the way, I just want to clear this up. Kevin Castle just reminded me of this. He didn't actually say it, but he said it indirectly. Shah, I confused Rawhead Rex with Razorback. Razorback from Australia, the 80s
Yeah, that's a
horror
dope
movie.
movie.
That's what I kept confusing it with. That is a fucking dope movie. It is an Australian horror classic. Rawhead Rex I like Rawhead Rex, but Razorback, if you've never seen it. B, did you watch that Australian horror documentary we talked about a couple years ago? I think it was on Shudder. Did you ever see it, Shot? It's the Aussie horror. It's like, it's got like that good shit.
No, I don't think I've seen.
Yeah, Razorback is a part of that, not Rawhead Rex. So I completely fucked that up, but I just wanted to clear that
It
up.
just came out on Blu-ray. Scream Factory just put out
Razorback?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like. You have it, Shah?
No, I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I do have Rawhead Rex. That got a 4K, but I never upgraded because it's not a movie that I particularly enjoy to the point of wanting to upgrade it to a 4K. I already have the Blu-ray, so. But yeah, man, it's a lot of fucking movies I'm discovering that I didn't know before, and that's what I love about just blind buying a lot of these, because I had no idea what Rawhead Rex was until like last year. Even though I didn't particularly like it, I still like discovering these weird movies. But yeah,
well,
I don't think, just to add to what I was saying earlier, I don't think if it came out right now though it would be a success. I mean, it would be a success as far as financially. I just still think people would shit on it because movies like Exorcist, all these huge franchises, people go into them with such high expectations because they compare it to the original. It's always going to get shit on. No matter what you do with Halloween, Exorcist, Friday, people are going to shit on them immediately. I do think it'll financially make a shit ton of money, but no, I don't think it would be perceived differently today.
You know what? I agree with you, but the only exception to that is Halloween Kills. A lot of people didn't like it, but the one thing everyone seemed to like universally was that flashback scene when they go back to 78 after.
I like that scene a lot.
Everybody loved that.
I like that scene a lot.
The mask freaks who like create and collect and edit masks and go crazy over the like fucking little points of detail. Everyone loved the mask. Everyone loved just the way it was shot. Everyone loved the way it came off. So I agree. Everyone's gonna shit like certain movies like that. It's like the Star Trek of fucking horror movies when you have a Halloween or whatever. Some people like some shit, some people hate it. But that scene universally was loved by mostly everybody that I saw that movie. So I don't know. Maybe there's something they can tap into with some of these where they can please most people. And who cares if it's just the most hardcore nerds that don't like it, I guess.
And if I'm not mistaken, Bisho, that was a CGI version of Loomis, right?
Well, yeah, it was an actor with a prosthetic.
Okay, but then they CG'd the voice and all that stuff, or
I think it was a voice actor.
It was a voice actor who did a hell of a
Yeah.
fucking job. And
It was an
gotta give
actor with a prosthetic, and then they did the voice afterward. Yeah, I think.
shout out to Chris Matthews. He was talking about Derek Mears, who's very good, but of course he loves Kane Hodder. And of course, shout out to Claire Chaos, who also said it was a great scene. Just sticking with the topic, as of right now, and of course we have the whole Halloween season to go and the rest of the year to go as far as these types of movies. But as of right now, The Nun 2, for those of you not paying attention, like the three of us, is a fucking bona fide blockbuster. It is the highest grossing horror film of the year, and it is raking in money hand over fist. It is not stopping the profit train. This is kind of remarkable because, again, I saw the first movie. I don't even remember it. I mean, in 25 days after the sequel premiered in theaters in September 8th, even though it actually performed admirably at the box office, as of the 27th, The Nun 2's box office haul is just over 205 million globally, 70 million domestically. So it's killing it overseas. And I believe, Bisha, we said the budget was like 30 million. It's something like that, right?
It seems like most of these movies, like Evil Dead, like The Nun, it seems like the budget's somewhere between 20 and 40 million, and they keep just banging them out.
What the actual fucking fuck? Do we know the gross? Do we know the budget? I don't know what the budget is.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I mean, it had a good opening, but the thing is, word of mouth made people go see it week after week after week. And this is something that really benefited 38 million. Oh my God. It's it's still going to make money like the next couple of weeks. I mean, it's going to make another 15 million, probably, maybe around that. It might get pushed out with the other movies. Shah, this is enormous news. I mean, this is like, how the fuck did they pull this off?
Yeah, since I got Movie Pass, I'm probably gonna check this out this week, but not something I'm excited about. But obviously, it's making a shit ton of movies. The original actually made a lot more. The original was in the top 10 of highest horror movies as far as
well, for that year. This is 2017.
No, of all time. Top
Let's
10
see.
of all time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus
Top 10 of all time, dude.
Jesus Christ.
365 million.
That's a lot of guacamole and cheese.
Yeah, compared to The Conjuring, which is super successful, only at 319 million, and The Conjuring 2
it's
at
the
321.
parent to all of these children. I mean, and it really is. I mean, it's, this wouldn't exist without The Conjuring. So, Shah, you're going to check it out because you have Movie Pass. But I mean, there's got to be something to be said for this. Is this an R-rated horror? Do we know if this is rated R or PG-13? This is a lot of money. This is a lot of fucking money. I think
it's rated R.
It's an hour 50 too. That's a little long to tell that fucking story.
That's
if
another
anyone
thing,
in the chat has seen it, if they could let us know.
Yo, that's another thing. I was checking out the movies that are coming out this year. The Nun 2 is 2 hours and 20 minutes, and fucking Saw is 2.5 hours.
It says an hour 50, doesn't it, right there?
With my special 2 hours and 20 minutes when I was.
Doesn't it say an hour 50 B right there?
It says an hour 50. It is rated R.
Wow. Okay, so I'm happy with the R rating. That's right off the bat. I'm excited about that, guys. This is a bona fide. I mean, this is like an investment this is a return on investment that studios dream of. And
this is, I mean, I've been saying this for weeks, man. If you go back to the 80s, and someone compared 2020 to the 80s, and it is pretty interesting to see the ascension of horror movies and the success they're having right now when other studios seem to be struggling with making money. Just the way horror has, like, traditionally, even going back to the 80s. So Shah's got something. Let me minimize the share.
I don't know if you guys can there? See it. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's weird. I don't know which one's right, which one's wrong. I don't know.
None too.
But as I've been saying, like, historically, horror movies have always been a safe haven because the budgets are low. Mm-hmm. People turn out to see them in droves, 2, 3, 4 times sometimes if the movie's good. So it's interesting to see these $1 million, multi-$100 million films aren't doing so well. And now on the side over here, creeping up, are all these horror movie properties getting made for $20-30 million, and they're making hundreds of millions of dollars back.
Hundreds of millions.
So I hope it continues.
Before it goes to streaming. This is before it goes, to cable or whatever. You know what I'm saying, B-Show? So it's like, this could end up doing like 250 on 38 mil.
Hasn't that always been the case, though? Horror making a lot of money?
Not this level, though, Shah. We're talking about small profits. Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, what's the name? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say Expendables came out this weekend, and it didn't even make 10 million. It made 8 million,
and it probably cost 70 or 80 million.
Yeah, it shit the bed completely.
Right. because nobody even wants to see that anymore. It was fun the first time. It was pretty cool the second time. It was why doing this the third time, and now the fourth time, people are like, oh, nobody's that expendable, Shah. No one is that expendable. What's interesting? We're talking about The Nun, and it doesn't prompt really any of us to go, maybe I'll check it out. I don't know too many people who saw it. I'm in very few groups where people say it was good. Mostly it's the same shit. It's people going, I don't, like, but to make that kind of money, this is the kind of money mainstream studios dream of. Kevin is wondering if it would be a bigger hit than the Exorcist remake. That's something that we're going to talk a little bit about in the Patreon.
No, I think The Exorcist is going to fucking blow the
I think
roof
it'll have
off.
a bigger opening. The Exorcist, I think, is going to have a smash opening. I don't know about the maintaining. I really, really don't. But yeah, as of right now, The Nun 2, it beats out the Insidious. What's that, number 4, I guess, or 3? Is it 4, Insidious, Shah? The third? I don't know. The Insidious that came out. I didn't see the one.
Oh, it's 5 of them out now.
Insidious 37.
Red
Still
Door, yeah.
more insidiousness. Super silly insidiousness. But listen, we're going to give a disclaimer right now. We're going to try to have a little conversation before we go to Patreon. And we're going to be very, very specific here. If you have not seen the movie, what is it? No one can save you.
No one will save you.
No one will save you. Be forewarned. We're going to talk about the ending. We're going to talk a little bit about the movie. It just came out last weekend. All three of us checked it out on Hulu. A lot of buzz, a lot of hype on this movie. Some of it deserved, some of it probably not deserved. So please, we're going to get to it. Okay. So we just want to let you know, we generally never ruin a movie for anybody, but this is a case where we think it was important to bring up some stuff because this is a very interesting film. So this was an alien abduction film directly shot, sent to Hulu that looked like a can't miss movie. All three of us saw it. And it was a very different experience than I think, initially anticipated. And Shah, I'm just going to start with you without giving any too much away, your overall take of the film.
Well, again, we're going to spoil some things because obviously if you're still listening, we assume you've seen this because, this was nothing like I expected. I mean, from the trailer alone, I thought they had pretty much given everything away. I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those trailers where they showed all the cool parts. 5 minutes into the movie, I'm like, holy shit, they showed most of what I saw in the trailer. Like, where are they going from? I had really high hopes for this, man. A couple minutes into the movie, when they first show the alien like getting into the house and they show like the back of the skull, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a fucking 10 out of 10. This is gonna be a banger. My main issue with this movie is it was just too much. It was just way too much. You saw the alien I think the alien was basically the main character.
Well, there was 3 aliens. There's 3 aliens.
Well, there were several. There was a midget one. There was a fucking.
There's an in-between one and the Daddy Longlegs ones, which I think looked fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Fucking absolutely incredible.
I don't know, man. Sometimes less is more, and this is one of those cases where they had mediocre CGI. It wasn't absolutely like terrible, but it's definitely not good enough to make it the center of your film for fucking hour and a half and show these aliens with close-ups, not only just like, are they teasing them? They're fucking they're going into their eyes, and it's like, you're almost like you're having a moment with this alien because you're eye to eye, it's like they're zooming in and shit. I like the beginning the most because that legit made me feel uncomfortable, and I think that's the good thing about this movie is that it captures that well, like the feeling of like intruders being in your house. Not that I've ever known that, but I'd imagine I'd be shitting my pants, and the fact that it's aliens makes it 10 times more terrifying. Still a little disappointed though. I'm going to be honest with you, man, because I thought it had so much potential, and the CGI really just kind of took me out. I don't know about you, B-Show, but the CGI kind of killed it for me. Not bad at all. Like, I recommend it. I think it was done pretty well. But the CGI just kind of took me out.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there were some scenes where, like, especially when one of the things was charging like through the bushes at her, the concept was cool because of the CG being really bad. Execution wasn't so good. But like I think John said, the daddy long legs, when she walks outside and she realizes that they're all over like the neighborhood, and she turns and looks, and that big fucking
The house
praying mantis thing
on the
comes up
house.
over the house
Oh my
and
God.
just I was like, holy shit.
Fuck yeah, that looked good.
Because like Shah, I was like, oh, these things look okay, but it's bad CG. And then as soon as I saw that, I'm like, whoa, that's impressive.
Yeah, they
I
had
did
moments.
pick up. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying they had moments. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
one of those.
and I know you and I were up late texting about it after we watched. It's funny, we all three of us watched the movie opening night at the same
Yeah.
time.
And by the way, Joe Punches, I think, watched it that night. Drew Yari may have watched it that. A lot of people we know watched it that night. A lot of people were watching it that night.
It reminded me of like back when a big movie would, this is the first time it's going to be shown on NBC on the Saturday night movie or Sunday night at the movies, and everyone's watching it. It was pretty cool, like an event type of thing. One thing I wanted to mention was I know there's been some debate about the end of the movie, and I know Shaheen and I were up, talking about it. Were you guys following what was going on during the movie and like toward the end, why things went
Well,
the way they went?
before we get to that, let me just give you my 2 cents in the movie.
Yeah.
I had to go back and watch it the next day, and I recommended that to you guys that night because I stayed up late to watch it, and I needed to see it again. It's only an hour and 28 minutes or something like that. I watched it again the next day, and I think if you watched it again, I agree with you on the aliens. I didn't like that we saw them so much. The medium sized ones were the worst looking ones. The smaller ones looked okay, and the daddy long legs were horrifying. They were fucking disturbing. They just looked like nightmarish, like something out of a fucking like cocaine fueled nightmare. That being said, the movie is fascinating. It's a fascinating fucking movie because one thing we need to point out here is there is there is less than 9 sentences, I think, in the entire film, and they're almost all exuded by the one person. There is no speaking in the film. It is largely carried by a very talented actress who I'm familiar with because she was on Justified when she was a teenager, and she was also in one of these drug series about the drug epidemic. She's brilliant. She's like a Southern actress. I forget her name. It's like Caitlin Dever or something like that. This girl is fucking phenomenal. She's phenomenal. I mean, she's just completely dialed in. She's by herself doing all this shit. But there's also plot twists. We don't understand why nobody likes her. She seems very nice. We don't know if this is like a dream. We don't know if this is actually really happening. So I think the movie's fascinating. I think it's fucking fascinating. I didn't like the CG. The CG hurt it, but the film, I think, delivered in terms of the uniqueness. And now I think we could kind of flesh out this ending because the ending is really the thing that I think a lot of people go, I don't know if I like this or not. Shah, what did the ending mean to you? Like, as far as did the ending change your opinion of the film? Did it hurt the film? Did it save the film?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I agree with you with the little dialogue. I think that was an interesting take on it. Very original, kind of artsy. I saw somebody on one of these horror groups, and they mentioned that one of the most important thing and something that you don't see in cinema so much anymore is to show it and not tell it. And they thought that this approach was perfect because they had the balls to really show you the terror instead of just like building up suspense and giving us quick jump scare here and there. And it's 20 minutes of buildup. You saw the fucking aliens the whole movie.
Oh yeah, the whole time.
You were right there from 2 minutes in. You're already like, holy shit, I think this is like the ending of a movie. This is already the climax. Like, where we go from here?
Right.
As far as the ending, obviously the aliens basically like forgave her and let her go and let her get a new start. I haven't watched it again. I only watched it one time, but I sent you guys a link that I think B Show watched, but
I watched it too. No, I watched it the next day.
There was an explanation of it, and I had to go watch that to really understand it. And
great explanation, by the way. We should probably put it on the page.
Yeah. Once I got the gist of it, or what that guy thought was the idea, anyway. Because again, this is just his take. It's all perspective. Like this could be completely something different than the actual filmmaker intended it to be. But I understood a lot more. But them forgiving her, I think that was very different. You know, I still don't know how I feel about it. It's one of those things I got to go watch again.
Mhm.
I do like all the symbolism in the movie that I didn't catch with like the
Religion.
biblical symbols and all that stuff. Like I didn't understand. I didn't catch any of that watching it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm curious to see if you guys did because I didn't catch any of that
None
stuff
of
that
it.
the guy was mentioning.
None of it until I watched the thing that you told me to watch.
Yeah.
B show, your take on the ending.
So I didn't get the biblical stuff until I watched that video. So that was an interesting take. But I remember what made sense to me was watching throughout the movie. She's by herself. No one's talking to her. Everyone's giving her the stink eye. The fucking
No
UPS
one's
guys
talking.
break exactly. But like the
Talking at
UPS,
all. Yeah.
she's trying to interact, and they're all like, "Fuck off."
Yeah. Like, yeah.
So I'm like, all right. It kind of sunk in like she's kind of an alien to them in their world and doesn't belong. So there's that kind of juxtaposition. And then I noticed her with like the dollhouse and staging everything like this little perfect life. And at first, I thought it was gonna be like a Twilight Zone thing where like this is all happening in her imagination. She lives in this little town in the dollhouse. But I think what I picked up on was they had treated her like shit. She was alien to them. She had already been through so much. She was the only one, and that's the one religious thing that I didn't see it as religious, but I was like, she's the one like trying to make amends.
Right.
She's the one who's been suffering, trying to make amends, trying to reach out to people. And there's only one part where someone almost does, and then they kind of turn their back on her.
Yep.
So to that point, when they let her go, I thought it's either she fought back and they respected that, so they gave her the option to live there, or they saw that she was the alien in their community and had been
Right.
treated like shit. So let's spare her and let her be happy. However, I don't, as hard as they fought to try to like take her over,
Take her over.
it didn't
Yeah.
make sense to me. So the thing I texted to Shah was, it reminded me of someone who comes up with a really good idea and says, "Hey, what if we do a body snatching movie? But instead of someone being body snatched or trying to fight against the aliens and stop it from happening, they allow it to happen because it makes sense for
Makes
them
their
and it makes
life
them
better.
happy."
Right. Yeah.
And then
Right.
as they went along, like it's like they kept trying to make it happen, which is why I think that's why it kind of falls apart and there's some plot holes. But no, I thought really, really good, a fresh take because every other invasion movie we've seen, it's fighting to the end,
Boilerplate.
like even Body Snatchers, the very end, like stop it, like
Yeah. Yeah.
to the end.
Yeah.
And no, really, really good. CGI was bad, but I want to
CGI.
watch it
Well,
again.
I'm not gonna say the CGI was bad because I think the daddy long legs looked dope, and if anybody even sees that, and I think the tractor beam stuff looked good. Some of that stuff looked okay. You know, she's great. I think this is probably one of the best horror performances in a long time. I mean, this is just exceptional acting. I mean, this is absolute acting. And one of the things I will say is I really was, this was like a Twilight Zone episode, or really the Outer Limits for those of us that are very old. This wrapped up like an Outer Limits or Twilight Zone episode, Shah. This didn't wrap up like a movie. This wrapped up like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, I might actually rewatch this tonight because I don't know, man. I feel like I would enjoy it more on the second time.
Yeah, I
But
did. What's
yeah,
that?
I just
89 million
honestly,
views. Is that for this? Did you scroll that? I'm sorry, Shah. What's that 288? That's not for this, is it? Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure. What were you
no.
gonna say, Shah?
I honestly think like if the CGI, if they just capitalize on what they were doing best, which is, you know, having an original approach to a not very original idea of alien invasion movie, because we have a million of these, right?
Million.
There's Area 51, Alien Abduction, Fourth
Fire in
there's
the
so many of them.
Sky.
Yeah. Which I mean, Fire in the Sky is fucking.
It's great.
If you haven't
It's a
seen
classic.
that,
I think it's a
amazing.
mini cult classic for sure.
One of the best
Classic.
alien movies I've ever seen in my life.
And what was that? The Fourth Element. What's that one with the what's her face? The girl from all the Umbrella movies.
Oh, Fifth Element, Mila
Fifth Element.
Jovovich.
I like Fifth Element.
It's kind of a Blade Runner knockoff, but yeah, it's
A
pretty
little
good.
bit. I like it.
The one with Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
No, not Fifth Element, guys. She's in a movie called, it's like a Close Encounters movie. It's Mila Jovovich. Someone in the chat might know it. It's not the Fifth Element. That's like a fucking.
Yeah, I was gonna say Fifth Element.
No, no. Mila Jovovich is in a very cool horror, like a alien abduction movie about people who were abducted. It's kind of low
Fifth
key.
Kind?
Fourth,
Fourth
kind.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like this movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. If you guys ever seen it, it's not a bad movie.
No, Fourth Kind is amazing.
Yeah, I liked it. I like it quite a bit.
It made me terrified of owls.
Dude, that's a good rewatch. I bet if you both rewatched the movie, we would be having a conversation about how much you liked it more than the second time. How you think it deserves a second watch, and how the elements, once you see the elements, you can't unsee them anymore. I mean, look, it's polarizing. I think it did its job. It got people talking. A lot of people were talking about it. People were making videos about it. People watched it immediately when it came out, guys, which is a big fucking step. I am curious to see where it lands in a couple of months with all the other properties coming out. If a lot of people, I have a feeling like people are going to be talking about the performance and also the originality of the idea. Show like this was a very original idea. I think this was incredibly unique.
I agree. It was able to pull off that Twilight Zone type of twist while still being original, which is hard to do because there's been so many different takes on all these different genre movies. I don't know. Really good. There was something I was just going to bring up and I don't remember what it was. Man, fuck. It was really good. I lost it, but no, I agree with you. Really good. I want to see it again. I was hoping it would come to me, but it's not. Oh, did you guys see the screenplays, the page for when she's stuck, like frozen in the red light?
No.
Oh my God. It's basically the whole page is filled with letters and it's hard to read it, but it's all like, she can't move, she can't move, she can't move, she can't move, she can't move. And then there's like a blurb of the alien comes face to face. She can't move,
Oh
she can't move, she
wow.
can't move. It's weird and hard to read, but that's how it
Yeah.
was written in the script. It's pretty cool.
And just so people know, the guy who directed this also wrote the film. He's written quite a bit of successful horror movies. This is a first time director, by the way. This guy has written, I don't know his name offhand, but I looked him up. He's written a bunch of fairly successful horror properties, but this is his first time directing, and he directed his own film. So, kudos to him. Do we know what studio put this out to, by the way? Does anybody know who produced it? I mean, Hulu bought it. They didn't, that's the script. Wow. That is so badass. Look at this. Wow. That's the script. They put that on the internet. That's pretty cool. Well, listen, if you two guys watch it again, we'll have a deeper conversation about it. But I recommend, Shah, would you recommend people checking it out though?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you have Hulu, definitely check it out. Not a bad movie at all. I guess my expectations were so high 5 minutes in because I was like, holy shit, this is going to be fucking amazing. And then they just showed me too much and kind of turned me off. But definitely original. I appreciated that. I love the little dialogue. I thought that was amazing.
Almost none. Almost no.
That's missing from movies nowadays. I think, show us more. I agree with that statement of, don't just tell the story, show us. So,
yeah, would you recommend it too?
Absolutely. And the no dialogue, that's what I was going to say a minute ago, is to me, I don't know if that was so much just because of the way the story went. She was by herself. She had no one to talk to.
Well, her mother died. That was the thing.
Yeah,
too.
but to me, that part of it was like with the no dialogue, it made her seem even more isolated than she was. It's one thing to show people treating her like shit, but she's literally has no one to talk to through the movie, through this whole thing.
No one.
So I definitely would recommend it. I think the good points outweigh the bad points, and I believe everyone would probably benefit from a second viewing.
And I guarantee you, it might not be on any of our lists necessarily, but this is going to be in the conversation for sure. I can't see it not. Overall, between the performance, the originality of it, like the fucking, there's a very bleakness to it too. It's very bleak. I like bleak horror. I like this like worst nightmare scenario. And by the way, there's some scary elements to it too. In the house alone, she's in a big house. They're throwing her around. They're chasing her. Like, you know what I mean? It's when she's running in the woods with the fucking long leg fucking thing, that long leg thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Something about daddy long leg things. And, I don't know, like something about those kind of things gross me the fuck out. But we have a bunch of stuff we need to get to on Patreon. So we're going to continue the conversation there. And for those of you that have not joined us there, please consider heading over there. We're going to have a mighty fun time over there. We're going to continue. We do a whole extra bonus show exclusively for the Patreon, and it comes out usually right away. And of course, we want to remind everybody in the Patreon that this weekend at some point we will be getting to your Q&A. So you still got a little bit of time to get that stuff in. But right now we're going to drop some plugs. We're going to give a little pluggertons. So let's plug Deathmatch Outlaws. Let's plug the Drew Yari Experience. Let's plug Cassette Classics 86 on YouTube. and Down on the Thundercast, and of course, Don Tony. Necromaniacs podcast, always putting out the good shit every week. The Inhuman Experience podcast, and of course, the return of Ringsiders. They'll be coming back sooner than later. So keep an eye out for that, our friends across the pond. We got Mojo and Dirk's Most Dastardly Show, the Garden of Doom. We have the Old Guy Metalcast, and of course, funkbetty.com. I'm sure there's going to be a wonderful fall line coming out. So if you want to get some great fall clothes, go to funkbetty.com. MJW Games, and of course, Jerry Jesus on YouTube, and his band Kaiser, the Red River Podcast. That's Sam with Playing Dead. That's his band, putting out the hits there. Bayou Geeks, our good friend Betty 316, the High Mox Podcast, the Midnight Mass Creature Cast, and of course, the Weekly Detour with Anthony Allison and Teddy, and the Guns and Geeks Podcast. Shah, the kids are asking me every day. They're like, John, what's happening at Planet Mondo this week?
Nothing this week, man. Hopefully I'll get something up next week. But I've been working crazy hours, like I've said the last couple of weeks. So not much going on. But there's a back catalog. You can go there. There's timeless videos that they're not time sensitive, so you can watch them anytime. But yeah, Planet Mondo, subscribe, check it out. And
of course, B Show Brian, what's happening on the B Show channel?
Time depending, I might do a deep dive on this this A24 Halloween thing. Because I did an episode a while back, like if they did a Halloween TV series like they had done some of the other ones, how could you go in different directions? And I might just do an updated version of that. And I might even go back and look. I've been trying to challenge myself, even movies that I don't like. Like I might do a series where it's like I look at movies that I like and try to find shit that I didn't like about them. Just to be honest.
Re-examining. I like that.
Yeah, and then that's some of the movies that I don't like, and like calling out the shit that I do like about them. So it's in the works. I should be calming down work-wise in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if I'll get it in time for October, but bshowbrian.com. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Same thing with Spitball Media.
Yes, and please do that for Spitball Media. We're really trying to get the algorithm going here. And thank you guys for the support. And we'll see you next week on Spitball Media Podcast. We're going over to Patreon. Have a good weekend.